Sunshine State, where secrets hide. In Tampa Street, she seeks out lies. With a sharp eye, she'll reveal the truth. Justice calls and she pursues. From county jails to hallowed courts, she finds truth where they distort. Fearless heart and mind so keen, Sam unravels tangled seams. The truth is buried deep in files. Fairness is what they try to hide, but Sam prevails, she's got your back. With grit and grace, she never lacks. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. Footsteps echo in the night. She chases justice with the light. A warrior for justice for all. She won't stop when she hits a wall. Florida P.I.Sam is her name. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may.
Hi guys, good evening. Oh, hold on. I got my song looped. Oh, Sam. Hold on. Pause. Thank
It's
you.
a good song though.
Thank you. I made it with AI. Hi guys, welcome. Good evening. It is Saturday. I was going to say July, August 2nd, 2025. And I am so excited to bring to you my friend Laura from her channel, Interesting Captures. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, and hello everyone. Hope everyone's doing good tonight.
We have a lot of common friends here on the YouTube, so I see a lot of your people in our chat. But for anyone who might be new to you, do you want to tell us a little bit about your channel?
I do stupid stuff.
That is not true.
Okay, I cover stupid people.
That might be true.
No, a lot of it is about John Wayne Gacy and my experiences growing up around him, which is what we're going to talk about some tonight. The other one that I do a lot about is Jeremy DeWitt, and he is the moron from Florida who keeps wanting to imitate police and just a real jerk. You'd have to go and watch his videos to understand what I mean. He's good for a laugh.
Yes, he is. He is something else. I can only take him in small doses, though, because I just want to smack him.
Try going through hours of footage to make those videos.
I couldn't. Do you think they're gonna live stream his trial?
I have the Zoom, so I'm hoping.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping. Okay. He managed to, the one prior in December, he managed to get the media banned. So I don't know.
Did he
But
really?
yep, but I don't know if he's going to do that or not this time.
For as much as he's recorded himself, that's the thing. Like, he's recorded himself committing crimes. Hi, OnlyFans. Good to see you. Thank you for joining in from Singapore.
Yes, hello, OnlyFans. A lot
Yes,
of people in here I recognize. Hello,
I
everyone.
know. Let's say hi to everyone. There's Kelly Collins, who is my newest mod in Trial TV Live, who's one of my oldest mods, not by age. Great Gams, who I know you know.
Yes.
Squeegee, the other half of Trial TV Live. And then I see my stepmom, Susie. Hello, my dad. Who else we got here? And my mom finally caught on to the Ohio for Squeegee, so that's awesome. Good job. I think all parents are present and accounted for and doing well. B Michigan, good to see you. Bama, always good to see you. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Larry, good to see you. All right. It's good to see everyone.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so yes, tonight we've got Laura here, and I have asked. Oh, well, thank you, Laura, for just gifting out 5 memberships.
Oh, you're
Oh,
welcome.
Queen Anne Ruth Ann got one. Queen Olive Ruth Ann. So I invited Laura on, not so much to talk about what John Wayne Gacy did, but because she actually knew him as a child. If you read the description of tonight's live stream, um, then you know that from the little blurb that I wrote that she didn't just know him on the periphery. She like knew him. So I've asked her here. She's never spoken in an interview. She's never spoken to the press on her channel, which should be linked below, and we should be running it. Her channel, Interesting Captures. She has an 8 parts series of her experience and other a lot of photos that she went back and took herself or has gathered herself, and then she's got a lot of shorter clips on there too. And so she's never talked outside. I guess what I want to say is that she took her power and control and told her story the way she's wanted to tell it on her channel. But I invited her here to talk about what that whole experience was like, and anything she wants to talk about it and she wants to say about it. And I have watched I think most of the series, the series is I believe what your nightmares are made of, Laura.
Gacy, the man behind my nightmares.
Right. And so usually when I watch YouTube, it's before I go to bed. So, but I'm happy to say I haven't had any nightmares. But it's a really fascinating story. And I've got a little clip here to play. It's just like so that we can show you. Well, we'll give you. Go ahead and tell them how you came to be in the proximity of one of the world's most notorious serial killers.
Well, it was thanks to my grandmother, and it was unintentional. When Gacy was serving time in Iowa, which a lot of people don't know that he did that before he came out here again, my grandmother and his mom met at church, and they became friends. So they were friends for about a dozen years before all this happened. When Marion Gacy, when her husband died, John was still in prison in Iowa. My grandmother had been living in this apartment complex. There was an opening. She convinced Marion to come and stay in the extra unit that was available, so she did. And then when Gacy came home, he moved in with her for a while. And that's how I got to know him. He was the maintenance building. Does the maintenance on it and everything else. But basically, my grandmother and Marion were very close friends, and that's how I got to know him. And then when he bought his house, unfortunately, we spent a lot of time over there because Marion didn't drive, so we would take her there and take her back. And a lot of times, Gacy would do a lot of errands running around. And sorry, people, I don't want to give you nightmares, but yes, he even used to babysit me.
So when you were, I take it from the videos that you have put out on your channel that like I didn't realize how I honestly don't follow serial killers. I don't know. They've never really piqued my interest. So like my knowledge going into your videos was really low. Like I knew the name, but he's was really like we're going to show this like you put together some of the images from your video for me, but and I'm going to show them, but I can't get over like how sociable he was, like throwing parties. And in one of your videos, wasn't did it say that a police officer lived 2 houses down from him?
No, that was at the
Oh,
apartment
okay.
complex.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
The police officer lived across the street from the
Oh,
apartment
okay.
building.
From the apartment building.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, and did you ever get the feeling that there was anything strange?
Honestly, no,
Nothing.
nothing.
Wow. And so we were talking just before you came on here, and I was asking you how old you were when he was arrested, and you said you were 10.
When he was arrested, I think I was like 12.
Okay.
So it was between 10 and 12. I'd have to 77. I was 11 when he was arrested. And
So,
my brother was 16.
oh right, and so that's something else that we've learned, um, or I learned from your videos is that you actually knew some of the victims as well because
Yes.
they were your brother's friends.
Yes, and then they became my friends too because, like I was explaining to you, I was a tomboy, so I always followed the boys. I did everything with them. So, a couple of them I got really good friends with. In fact, one of them used to take me roller skating on Friday nights and stuff. So it was fun.
I loved roller skating. That was one of the only things I lived out in the country, and my dad says I used to tell everyone that when I was going to grow up, I was going to, or that I thought that roller skating should be a professional sport in the Olympics or something to that to something like that. And I really would very much like to be would have liked to have been a professional roller skater, but it did not work out to me. Yeah, you guys. So thank you. Thanks for everybody coming in and saying hi. I'm looking for your questions. If you have questions for Laura, go ahead. I can see Squeegee's asked me a couple. Hi, Patty. It's good to see you. I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on. Excuse me. Um, it's it's good to see you. Hi, Barry Adams. I saw. Okay, so Squeegee had a question. He wanted to know how old you were when he would set you. Paula, thank you for the gifted memberships.
He babysat me when I was like 8 or 9, and then 10. My grandmother and his mom would go out a lot of the times, and if my brother wasn't at my grandmother's, Gacy was there. Or she had a picture of me on his shoulders one time, and I might get burnt that thing.
There are little tiny like fruit flies in my house because I let the door open for Henry, so I apologize. I actually have lights on, and so they're flying in front of my face, and I'm sure you can't see them, but I'm not batting it at nothing. Um, that like looking back, do you think that your grandma? I mean, I know that she must have felt terrible for Marion, his mom, why do bugs need to land on me? But do you think your grandmother had suffered any regret about you being babysat by
Oh
him
yeah,
or
yeah,
spending so much time around him?
yeah, definitely. There was a period of time after this all and what happened came to light. My grandmother, we didn't think was going to pull through. She was that beaten up from it.
Oh wow.
I have 19 cousins. I'm the youngest of them all.
Yes.
I'm the
That's
youngest of them all.
crazy. I wrote that down in my notes.
And there were, most of them are boys. The girls are all older, the boys are the ones in the middle, and then there's me. So my grandmother spent months drilling all of my cousins about, did this guy do anything to you? Did he say anything to you? Did he, she just felt so much guilt. And then she was heartbroken for Marion. You know, Gacy is one of the best conniving liars I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, it definitely seems like he had the whole city neighborhood fooled, right? I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. Why don't I see if I can play this? We can talk over it because I don't think this has any sound, does it? What you sent me today?
Today, no.
Yeah. Okay. So let me. I'm. Everybody knows I'm really great with this whole like sharing things. So let me just go ahead and add that. That is not it. Let's remove that. And
Look at all those lovely members.
I know, isn't it so exciting? Okay. Um. Why is it not
Uh,
adding? Is it the layout? I have to have the layout wrong because I
add
have it here.
squeegee probably about a dozen times in total.
What have I done? Oh, it's running, but not
Yeah,
the way I
you're
want
right.
it to. There we go. Hold on. Let's take it back. Okay, so this is
The apartment building.
the apartment building where your grandmother and Marion live.
Yes, if you look at the left of this picture, you'll see the white doors. The window that is up right above those doors to the left was my grandmother's front room. Yep, that where it's circled is my grandmother's front room. That blue mark below the unit is where the laundry room and the storage and everything was. To the right of that green circle in the middle there was the bedroom window, and then where the red is, that was where Marion lived. So that's how they were. And then again to the left of the door on the bottom was Marion's bedroom window. So that was the front room window with the bush. My grandmother was up there in the green. And we knew everybody else in the building too. So
Yeah, it doesn't look like it was a very big
no,
building.
it's a 5 unit.
Oh, there were only 5
Yeah,
units.
there was, well, technically 6, but they used the laundry and the storage for that bottom one. So yes, there was only 5 units.
Okay. So, and then he was like a maintenance guy. He had a little contracting business, right?
Yes.
And so was that a volunteer position that he took on at his
Yeah, he did it because his mom lived there.
okay. And so that's why he would be well, in addition to seeing his mother, that's why he would be around the building, right? Is because
Yes.
he was doing fix it projects sometimes in the middle of the night, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Okay, so let me
Yeah, those bushes he put in.
oh great, that's nice.
Hmm.
I mean, thank goodness you were not his target demographic, but I guess your brother maybe was. So is this where you wrote lived here? That's your
That's
grand
that. Yeah, that's the side of the building, and right where the parking lot is as well. That would
okay.
be like the dining room.
Okay.
And to the right where it says lived, where there's no window, that's the front room. And then behind the windows there, if you kept going behind that, that's the kitchen area. And then right there where the white car is the sidewalk to go behind the building that he also put in.
Yeah, we'll talk a second about the concrete.
Yeah, and Bama, I am seeing your comments, and I will in a little bit answer that. Sorry.
Bama said she'd be right back.
Yeah.
I'm looking for questions in the chat. Squeegee always has really good questions, and I see you're better at catching the chat questions than I am. But Squeegee asked, how many times did he babysit you? I mean, you were around him a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, roughly about a dozen.
Okay. Oh, okay. You answered.
But I was with him and his mom frequently.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we would go down to the city more. We would go to the store. Anything, he just ran everybody everywhere.
So you had said that you spent like all your school breaks and like your summer vacations and stuff like that
Yes.
at your grandmother's. So, and I was telling you a little bit about how like I grew up out in the country, but what I didn't say is that my brother and I would go and spend a week or two, I don't even remember how long, down at my grandmother's house. And she lived in a suburb, whereas like we lived out in the country. So like it was exciting because there were like houses and sidewalks and kids to ride bikes with. And so I imagine that that's just how your experience was. Like, people weren't as isolated as they are today. It seems like he had a community presence, and as Kelly is asking, was he not an up and coming guy in local politics? Was he trying to be that?
He was trying to be that. Anything that he could possibly do to make him feel a little bit more important. He schmoozed all the politicians, the judges, the police. He just smooth talked them all in, with his parties being always inviting everybody.
Yeah,
Now we know why.
Yeah,
on there.
Yeah, I mean, because it'd be the perfect attention diversion, right? But I think you put some of that kind of the photos and stuff in here. So
yeah, hold on one second. Let me answer these two real quick. I'm asked about the clown outfit. Did I see any of that? I saw him in the clown outfit very often. I went with a lot of the shows he did. He also had another guy named Mike Rossi that would dress up as Patches and come along a lot of that too. Grams, Great Gams, did he hurt me? No, he never hurt me, never touched me, never laid a finger on me inappropriately. And yes, we did have meals with him, Patty. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to forget those.
You're fine. You're better at at reading chat and answering it at the same time as I am, and I have worked all day and I'm keeping very weird hours, so my brain is doing very weird things. Trial, like the I've mentioned it before, but like I can't believe we're in August. How are we in August? But like the last part of the second half of this year is packed. Yes, OnlyFans, that is correct. Amy Crew, it is very lovely to see you. If I have missed anybody, I apologize. You guys, I'm trying to pay attention to everything. Yeah, I agree. OnlyFans, cold out there. I didn't actually both my mother and my father and my stepmother are in the stream, and I was telling Laura just before we came on that in one of her videos she mentions the blizzard of 19 what was it 79, and because she was in Illinois, and I think that's the same one we had, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure one of my parents will correct me. Okay, so this is oh my god, these flies are going to drive me crazy.
Okay, I'll explain this picture in a second. So let me you're right. He was only into boys, never was a threat to me. We dug deep and hard into my cousins who were boys, and is what we know. He's never touched them. I think he was afraid of my grandmother in that aspect, because since my grandfather died when I was 1, my grandmother had a friend who was one of her best friends. It was a couple. but he was a high up judge in the Daily Center, and he was constantly around. I think Gacy was afraid of that. So, as far as we know, anybody that's related to me never had any issues with Gacy. Also, point out one more thing. I'm 5 years younger than my next relative, which is my brother. Everybody else was older, so most of them didn't spend the time that I did with my grandmother. I did with my grandmother because I got spoiled, and I'm not going to deny that. I got
Yeah, you were the
spoiled.
baby of
I
that
was the baby.
entire brood,
And
right?
I've not said this before, but I have nothing to hide with this or anything else like that. My grandmother spoiled me rotten because I was also adopted. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I was the only one that was adopted into this family and everything else like
Wow.
that. So, my grandmother went over and above to spoil the heck out of me. So,
Oh,
I
that's
just loved being there,
awesome.
and a lot of the people that lived there I became really good friends with. So, I was always happy to go out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you loved being with her, like right now, I don't know if they're back yet, but I have a very sweet mom and daughter who went to her mom's house for the month of July. The little girl's name is Leah, and she just loves Henry, like loves Henry, loves him, and has used to see him out on the balcony when he was tiny, and now she's kind of grown in the few years I've had him, and he's huge now. But they crawl around on the ground and meow at each other. It's lovely. But she and her mom were so excited um, to go to her mom's house for the entire month, and I remember it was fun to have friends on at my nana's house. Like that was a novelty experience for me. So I imagine if you were there so often, you would have a lot of friends around there. So this is a picture of Gacy's house. Oh my God, these flies. Erin, I saw your recipe. Thank you. I've got apple cider vinegar. I will, like, this is nuts. This is nuts. At least this year, knock on wood, I don't have the tiny ants. I live in a very old building. I ordered a lot of weather stripping because, like, last year during the hurricanes, the sliders were just rattling, and also it gets really hot in here as it did like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the last time I was on. Okay. Um,
This is the
seriously,
front of
look
his
at that.
house for the Spirit of 76 party that he had, being the anniversary of America and all that. He did this huge party. It's amazing how small this house looks, but it actually wasn't that small. So it goes way back some. So that's him from this party. And that's, I'm not going to name names, but I know that other person too. But John is the one in the front with
So
there's
for
John again and his wife.
and I was, so like I said, I have never been, and I think there was a question Squeegee asked me why I wasn't interested in um, the serials, and I don't know. I just never have been, and I think I maybe it was that we saw my mom and I went to London in 1991, and it was right when Silence of the Lambs was released. And I feel certain that the European version was not the same as the American version. Um, but maybe it was because of that. But also, like I've mentioned on here before, I was reading profiling books like when profiling books first came out. So I have no idea why it has never interested me. But so I learned a lot watching Laura's videos. And again, you guys, most of you that I see who are in the chat right now, most of you are, you know, Laura, So, but for anyone who doesn't, the link to her channel, anyone is welcome to drop it in the chat, including you, Laura. I don't know if we have it, um, but it will be in the description. If you're on replay, if you guys are on replay, like, listen, I need you to give me a like and say hi, please, please, because I hear from you guys that are saying, oh, if I see you in another chat, you're like, oh, I'm watching you on replay. Well, tell me you're watching me on replay, please. And also, before we continue on, I want to say thank you to anyone who took my quest to reach my hours to heart, including Laura, because I finally hit the 4,000 hours of watch time goal. And what that means in YouTube land is that I qualify for Google AdSense, which I don't expect that I'm going to see big bucks, but it was kind of like the next little milestone for me. And I understand I'm not on here very often right now, so it's not like I can grow this channel, and I shouldn't, I do the best I can with living what's essentially a life of inhaling true crime nonstop. I want to be on here more, believe me. But so thank you if you or anyone who went back and watched old streams. I know Barb Ellison did that, so thank you, Barb. She went back and watched and liked them. I know that Laura says I'm still on a loop.
You're still on a loop going on one of my tabs. Yep.
Yes.
Since last Saturday.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's it's a milestone. It's a tiny milestone, but everybody helped so much in pushing me to get to 1,000 subscribers. And then it was just like this last little sticking point of the 4,000 watch hours. And we couldn't get there. It was like we stayed at a little below, like Alexis could tell you the math on it, but like 300 hours short or something. So after my last stream, when I was like, hey, I tell my friends to just put me on and mute me. Thank you for anyone who did that, because we made it to that part. And so I'm super grateful. And I know that the streams are long, and we were just talking about why I don't go back and edit them into smaller things, which right now is that I don't have the time for it, but also because I just don't like watching myself. I like talking to you guys. I like showing my face to talk to you guys. But I don't want to go back and edit, because I'm pretty sure I would just remove all the videos.
But she's gonna start asking me to help her out once in a while. And
yeah, so Laura, I was like, wait a minute, you're willing to edit over here?
Yes, I am.
So yeah, because I know I go off on my tangents, and some of you like it and some of you don't, and I apologize. It's just kind of who I am, and I get excited to see people and to talk about all this kind of stuff. And so also, Laura, before we continue, I also want to shout out Alexis. If you guys have not figured it out yet, Alexis is the, she likes to call it managing agent behind the cartoon investigator Henry. And she came up with an idea. She made the cartoon version of Henry, and I don't see them before she puts them up. I don't go looking, first of all, like it doesn't even occur to me. And one day I was sitting at the jail, and in Hillsborough County, I can have my phone at the jail, and I'm looking at notifications from my channel, and there's Henry like in a Ferrari, or no, it was the one where she had him like out by the pool. And I literally texted, like I was talking to a person, what do you mean you're at the pool and I'm at the jail? So she came up with this members series where she was doing a post every few days of Guess the Investigator. And I know a number of you participated in that. I didn't know who some of them were, but I thought they were absolutely freaking hilarious. And the one that she put up yesterday of me was great. I just cracked up when I saw that. So anyway, we shall return to the content. I just want to make sure I said thank you to everyone, because I'm not working off of one of my outlines. So yeah, very much appreciative of that. Squeegee has questions.
What memory stands out the most?
I'm going to read it out for anybody who's not reading the screen right now. So Squeegee is asking, you were so young when he was arrested. Looking back, what memory stands out the most? And I wonder, I'll let you answer, but then we were talking about something just before. I'd like to ask you about that.
The memories that stand out the most as this went public and more was being in that home, meeting those boys, several of those boys. I knew I knew about 8 of them personally. 2 of them extremely well. They were very close friends with my brother. Those are the memories that stand out. And I remember one of his victims came over by my grandmother because they did a lot of work at the apartment as well. And my grandmother got to know them. And, she's a sweet old grandmother. Here's some lemonade, here's some food, everything else like that. I remember one of them coming over a few days after one of the other ones went missing, just crying because he couldn't understand it. He didn't have a understanding whatsoever. The guy had no inclination of wanting to run away. He was working. He was trying to save money,
vanished.
and he was just gone.
Wow.
And he just didn't understand that. And then a year later, he was gone, and that
Oh my
sticks out to me.
gosh. Wow.
And then he was. I'm trying to be very careful so I don't flag your channel. They were put in the crawl space together.
Mm.
So a year apart. A year apart. He made point of going back to that
I saw
spot.
that on.
Yeah, and doing it with him there.
Yeah, so I was not aware that the bodies were literally interred at his home. And Squeegee, to answer your question, Laura, I have asked her 15 ways to Sunday. She's very good with her boundaries. She came on here to talk about her stuff, and if she doesn't want to talk about it, she won't. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, Laura will absolutely be like, no. So Kelly asked a really good question, which is, we were talking about just before we came on, which is, how did you find out about him? And that's what I wanted to know too. So do you want to tell them about that? No problem, Squidgy. You got to know I respect everybody's boundaries, and especially a subject like this. So we've talked about everything, and trust me, Laura would tell me to go shut the door if
I'm at the point now where I'm perfectly fine with talking about all of this stuff. I wasn't, and I had no intentions of ever doing it. But as time went on and more family passed, I didn't feel like I had to protect anybody. I wasn't sharing our family secret, our family knowledge. I was sharing mine at this point.
Right, which is what I invited you on here to talk about, your experience.
Right.
Not, I don't care so much about what he did, because anybody can go find that out. Although I did, like I said, I didn't really know anything about it until I watched
find out most of what he did. You're not gonna ever find out.
That's fine.
Yeah, but
that's fine. I don't need to know. But it's just such an unusual experience to have had.
Yeah.
Some people will be like, oh, I met so and so one time in passing, but like, to have spent the kind of time with someone like this, this is pre SVU, pre all the things, right? It's this, we're talking about the 70s here. So
we only had TV from like 6 a.m. until 10 o'clock at night, and then there was nothing but because the TVs go off. And yeah, it was a different time. But somebody asked, how did I know, or how did I find out?
Right. How did you find out? So
it was around Christmas.
Henry has made his appearance. If you see the blinds moving, that's why.
Hi, Henry.
Wanted to say
it was around Christmas time, and every year all of my family got together for Christmas. My grandmother decided she wasn't going to come this year, and I'm like, no, why? I didn't understand it. And my dad just said she wasn't doing that good, and I'm like, all right, I'm going there. I made my dad take me there. So I was there. She was very quiet, very secluded. She didn't ignore me, but she just was not herself. I knew something was up. I just thought she was sick. So I just laid down on the front room floor and was watching TV, and bam, there it is on the TV. And now I know why my grandmother was so sick and feeling so secluded and quietly on the phone all the time, because she had been talking to Mary, and she'd been talking to Karen, which is Gacy's sister. There was 2 other ladies, a lady named Shirley that was close with this. She was talking to all of them, and not once did I hear anything out of her. I found out Christmas morning when I saw it on the news. And I was not going to ask my grandmother anything about it, because I knew she didn't want me to know yet. But I started pulling the same thing. I was withdrawn. I was quiet. I was shaking. So she came out and talked to me. She's like, all right, I know you heard. let's talk. But we didn't know 90% of what happened. We only know that Rob Peace disappeared. They had speculation that he might have been in Gacy's house. They were able to get search warrants. Gacy had been arrested. When they got the search warrants, they started finding the remains of people, and that's all we knew. I thought it was still Rob Peace.
Just the one.
I thought it was just the one, but it's scary that the police were looking at him from before Rob Peace was taken. They weren't as heavily actively looking for him though. In fact, they even when Rob Peace was taken from the pharmacy that night, the police even came to Gacy's house. They were inside of Gacy's house.
Yes. I believe you said that. You guys have to go watch Laura's videos.
They had no idea
sure.
Rob was up in the crawl space, gagged and alive. They had no idea.
It's just absolutely so. It's like we've kind of been led to believe, I guess, through tropes on TV or movies that, you know, oh my God, really?
What did he do?
He's
That
just
was loud.
He's just knocking. Really? Do you have to do this right now?
He figured we were too serious. We needed a laugh.
No, he's mad, okay? Because Alexis was like, you know, you should feed Henry green beans because he likes to have multiple food choices. And frankly, he and I have both gained entirely too much weight over like the last 6 to 8 months. So I am out of green beans, which are his new favorite thing like ever. And he's not satisfied with just his mixed greens anymore. And he wants more and more of his crunchy food. And I've also figured out like he's allergic to a bunch of crap. And so it's been like this battle. And so when I won't do something like let him outside, which is what he wants right now, he wants to go outside. And that's so he acts like a brat. Thank you so much, OnlyFan. Thank you for sending 5 gifts. You guys are so generous. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
And wait, hold on, sorry, I just saw that. I want to go back before I forget. I think it was Squeegee. When you guys asked me about, oh, I can't find it now. You can keep talking. I'm sorry. I saw something that was asking me about something I saw, or what was the hardest thing I remember, or something like that. And I'm gonna be getting to that in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Squeegee said, I think he asked you a question along those lines, but he says, I imagine you've become a much stronger individual from this experience. I can't even imagine. And we were talking about that a little bit before about how, because your grandmother didn't like want it talked about out in public, and you weren't supposed to talk about it at home either, and how much processing you must have had to do.
I think with my grandmother, she just wanted to make sure before anybody said anything was that none of her grandkids were ever touched.
Yeah.
Most of them didn't come by there. She would go by them, but there were still a few that would come by there, and wanted to make sure that all of us were okay. That was her first concern, and then Marion was her next concern. I mean, she stood by Marion. Most people.
Oh yeah.
The things that were said and done to her, Marion had to move.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
And everything else like that. I'm actually surprised that they brought her back here to bury her, because there were so many threats against that.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
This was his second wife. Is that correct?
This one, yes. They're both named the same, but yes, this is his second wife. She's also got 2 daughters.
Okay, but not with him, right? Did he have any? He never had any of his.
He has 2 kids.
Oh, he does.
He has 2 kids. I know one, but I do not know the other.
Okay.
He has a son and a daughter, and I have always promised that I'm not saying anything. I will say I know the son. I've had communications with the son, not frequently, very sporadically, but I do know them. I did know both of them. I've had no contact whatsoever with the first wife or the daughter since he came back from Iowa, but I have with the son on a few occasions. So
it's so much to absorb. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip a little bit. Forrest, welcome. I'm so glad you were gifted a membership. You guys, I know some people aren't here in the chat that have received gifted memberships from OnlyFans. If you did get one, make sure you say thank you to OnlyFans. And if you don't have it toggled on, somebody will tell you how to turn on so that you can receive gifted memberships. And it's not going to be me because my brain is not there tonight. But there's a way for you to turn it on so that you can receive a gifted membership. And memberships are $1.99 a month. And there's a couple of video clips I have done, like in my car before I went to court. And of course, the Alexis costume Henry posts are there, and there's a live stream coming. I promise it's coming. Like it's coming. But I'm glad to see you, Forrest. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this and see some more of the social butterfly that was Mr. Gacy. So here he is. I think that in your video, you were talking about how this just was really hard for you because he liked to pave over where people were, and this was his barbecue area.
Was his barbecue area, and this is the one that haunts me to this day. Underneath that barbecue grill is one of my brother's best friends.
Oh my gosh. That's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Yep. And none of us knew that. Nobody knew that. And look at this, how he was. He was always smiling, always jolly.
Yeah,
always
I mean,
life of the party.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, host of the party, you know, and I think
it's sad. And
like here's another one.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Like this is, I mean, he wasn't trying to hide from attention. If anything, he made himself the center of it, which is really, that's very interesting.
That's the sad part, is all these parties that you see here and that he's done are at his home. People would go inside to use the bathroom. So many people come in about the smell. Oh, we've got bad sewage. We got bad sewage. Everything else like that. That was his excuse. But I'd been in and out of there so many times. I was in and out of there when they were digging the bodies up. So
yeah, I heard that you and your grandmother would take like coffee and donuts over.
Yeah, because she knew all of them. She knew a lot of them. Like I said, her best friend was a judge, and he was high up. Okay. My family, I have a lot of family that are in law. I come from a law background. I come from, not me personally, but my family. My great grandfather, I think it was, I don't remember. Somebody on my grandmother's side was a cop, and he had gone into a bank one day, and they were robbing it. And out of instinct, he went to reach for his gun, but he was off duty, so he didn't have it. The robbers saw that and shot and killed him. After that, they pushed and lobbied, and that was why, because of that, is one of the main incidents that allow off-duty to carry.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that's how far back law goes. So this is just right in your face.
So, it would make sense then that he would stay away from your cousins or your brothers. Yes. But he got kind of close with your brother's friends, clearly.
Yeah, too close. Yeah.
And this was in the late 70s, I think.
He got arrested in 77.
He was arrested in 77. Okay. So this one is we were talking about this, right? This is the yard of your grandmother's apartment building.
Yes. That first door there is the door that you would go into and go up one little flight of stairs to my grandmother's apartment.
And so this is obviously from the newspaper, where they had basically gone into his house and found very disturbingly all of what they found there, which were his victims. And then they turned their focus then to your grandmother's apartment building.
After enough complaints came up and questions came up,
And why did that? Why? Tell me why where the complaints and questions came from, like you were telling me before.
Okay. I'm going to clear one thing up real quick
Sure.
first. I misspoke. Of 78, he got arrested, not 77. I was thinking the spirit of 77 was one of his parties where more and more people smelled. So that was what was going through my head. But at 78, he got arrested in December, I believe it was. But the reason why is when my grandmother lived here, Marion lived here, those bushes weren't there. That's in front there.
Mm-hmm.
That fence wasn't up. The street actually was no parking. It was a bus stop. And he dug all the way around the building and put trenches in for no reason. The sidewalk on here was there, but on the back of the building, he put sidewalk down.
So concrete was concrete and lime were his
Yep,
tools, were his incident aisle supplies
correct.
for post incidents.
And then
Right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the bottom, if you go in that door and go down five or six steps, sorry, that's where you enter the storage room, where they had little lockers for every person that lived there, and they had the laundry there and a bunch of other storage stuff that they used around there for everything. That all of a sudden got to bed one night, wake up the next morning, there's signs all around it, windows are covered up, don't go down there, there was a flood. He's got to redo it, so he poured cement down there when there was never any flood. So that's another thing. The blacktop area on the driveway on the side where I showed you where my grandmother's dining room window looked over,
Mm-hmm.
that was all pebbles and little stones. In the middle of the night, he
Oh, it was
blacktopped that.
gravel.
Yeah, he blacktopped that all in the middle of the night. So it was just all those things, all of it being in the middle of the night, all during this time frame where these people
All
are
being
missing
like
them.
concrete based. I can only imagine. So this is where they approved, it looks like, to dig around your grandmother's apartment building. And I think that is the grid image the next one.
I think so. They only did where that shed is right there.
Yeah.
They only did right by there.
So what is this machine right here?
This
And you
is
guys, just so you know, there are no graphic photos, and if you're scared of clowns, that's the last image, and it really is kind of freaky. But now I know why everybody associates clowns with evil things. But other than that, there's no in the
nothing
images that
graphic.
are
Yeah,
in the images I'm showing you.
and I'm watching everything I'm saying because I don't want to be graphic.
Yeah, and I just didn't get my sensitive content warning screen up, but we're not trying to. This is about Laura's like experience, basically. So, but you don't be afraid to look at your screen or watch your chat, because it's. I made sure that we didn't put up anything. Squeegee is asking you, as all this was as this all was occurring, what were you, your family, your neighbors, community thinking and talking about?
Are you asking me before he got caught or after he got caught? Because if it's before he got caught, we didn't think anything. We had absolutely no clue.
None.
None.
Even though just the weird smell being around his house.
And a lot of employees, leaving and everything else like that. His big times for most of these victims is usually December, and then like maybe July and August were big months for him.
Really? December? That's interesting. So
It's the
around
easiest time to sum it up the best way that I can. High school kids, when they're in high school, they want to work in December, November, December to make money for Christmas, things like that. So
got you.
he was
Yeah.
constantly getting the people and turning them over and everything else like that. The guy here in this picture with the white sweatshirt and his hand up, that's one of my cousins. But this is my grandmother's building. They're using a sonar, and that fence is where you just saw the front of the building. This is the side. And above here is where my grandmother's window was from the dining room. And this blacktop, that's what he all put down, was that paving there. So that's why they're scanning here. They also did the sidewalk there. I don't think it's in this. I have it in other pictures though. But there's an alley right there, down some from the parking lot. There's an alley. He even paved part of the alleyway, not all of it, just a part of it. And then see there's my grandmother's window, and then the one above is Shirley's window, which was a friend. So this is them looking for the sonar and everything.
Wow, that's crazy.
Now I've been back there and I haven't been able to download it or do anything like that yet, but I actually went back there during the week when it wasn't so busy. And I went into the building and I filmed in the laundry room and the stairs and all that.
During, like, when you were a kid, or now?
No,
Like,
now.
when you went back
Now.
to make your
Now.
series?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know you went and did some of
Yes, I did
your
do that.
footage is on your channel. Okay.
Yeah, I did
Okay.
go back and do that before as well when I was making this and everything. But I filmed all the way around the back. I got a film. I through the window got through where Marion lived. I got into the storage area. I couldn't show anything from the apartments other than that. But I did go back there and look and film it just so people get a better idea of what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So these are just pieces, images that I asked Laura to grab from her first video that is up on her channel. And again, you guys can drop her channel link in anywhere in the chat, or all the things. And while you're here, if you would do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button, that'd be so awesome. And I appreciate it very much. So here, this is where they started to grid out like the corner there of your grandmother's building. And as we were talking before, it didn't dawn on me, but there's no concrete there.
No, there's not.
So why would that be of interest if they were?
Because the officer that was across the street that you asked me about, he came home from work one night. It was like 2:33 in the morning, and Gacy was out here digging, like trenches and digging stuff.
Oh, the trenches. Right.
He was just talking to him about why are you doing it at this hour and everything else. And Gacy was saying that there's not enough hours in the day, so I'm doing what I can. And he was asked, well, why don't you have your employees? Because they come and go. I can't trust any of them. Just making all the excuses and doing all this stuff. So, but nothing abnormal was found in this grass area when they did the scans. And that's what got so many people mad, is that they're actually digging where that white is, but nothing showed up on the scans.
But why would they? Because that's not
exactly. Now in front
really
here where these bushes are, and that sidewalk, abnormalities showed up. The parking lot, abnormalities showed up.
Why do you think
behind?
Why do you think they did that? That they just didn't want to actually go? Thank you.
They didn't want to they didn't want to reopen the can of worms again, basically. They're like, he's dead, he's gone. There's nothing more that can be done about it. And so many of us fought them because those families, if there is, they deserve to know.
They do deserve to know. I agree with that 100%. I would think that the not knowing would be the worst thing ever for anyone. So this was approved after he had already been removed?
Yes.
Okay.
His sentence was carried out. Put it that way.
Okay. All right. So his sentence was carried out, and then there was enough questions and inquiries that to go back to the building and do the scans, but nobody in the government, I guess the community government, wanted to actually truly dig up where the scans showed the abnormalities.
Yeah, correct.
So they just sort of made it look like they were.
Well, there's another company that went back and did it again, and identical abnormalities showed up on their reading. But the city, we're still pushing the city. City might do it. They're leaning a little bit more towards it, but it's been no up until recently.
Okay. So, and the reason again for wanting to do that is because if there are more, so that maybe they can be identified for the families.
Because there's still thousands and thousands of people that submitted DNA evidence trying to find they're missing kids. Because you got to understand, back then, this is the 70s.
Right.
Hitchhiking,
Right.
even drugs were very, very popular and very new, things like that. So kids were disappearing on their own free will. And
Right.
Gacy had a type, and that's what got him caught, was he changed from his type towards the end.
Oh,
The drifters, the unstable kids. I mean, they were all good kids, but a lot of them came from a lot of problems and a lot of issues, and those were what he preyed on, because he could
right.
do whatever, and nobody. It'll take him a while to find
Looking.
out.
Right.
He just got desperate when he ran into Rob Peace, because
Okay.
he got desperate.
Yeah.
He knew the walls were closing in on him. The police were already looking at him, because there were a couple that survived and got away and reported him.
And so I was talking with Laura before we came on about there were some similarities to a former client defendant of mine. He was already under investigation for drugging, for basically was it because of the victims that got away?
With Gacy, that they
Hmm.
were suspected. That was
The
part of it, but also there was two people that came looking for their paycheck and never came home. And not long after that, I'm trying to remember if it was one of the two survivors. One of Gacy got a hold of the guy's car and sold it to one of the other workers. And then that guy got pulled over, and then they started questioning him for it. And he said, "No, I bought the car and everything. That car is in my video too, but he
okay.
bought the car." So they were starting to look at it. There was another one that disappeared where the family, they were immigrants, so the family didn't have great English, but they kept calling Gacy and calling Gacy, saying, "I know my son went there. He went to get a job. He worked for you. He worked for you. I got a check. Don't tell me he didn't work for you." And people were starting to close in,
Okay.
but Gacy had enough
Er,
friends that they had to be sure.
okay. Okay. All
And it's
right.
sad, because if they listened to when that stuff was going on, about eight or nine people would still be alive.
Yeah, that's just
But the
that
walls were
just
closing
makes.
in, and he panicked, and he took Rob. And one of your friends asked if he ever admitted it or not.
Oh yeah, Kelly had
And
asked if he ever admit to
yes,
anything.
he did, and no, he didn't. Yes, he did admit to it. He said it was his alter personality. He said that it was him on drugs. He said that he doesn't remember. He blamed it on two other people that were in and out. He did nothing. So it depended on what day of the week you were talking to him.
Yeah.
One of the things that gets me the angriest and the sickest is, after all this stuff, when he was convicted and on death row in prison, he does some interviews, and you'll see it on mine, because I fought wanting to put that up there or not, because it makes me sick. In his cell, he had a binder that's easily the size of a large college textbook. It's huge, of pictures and information on every single victim, all the
Mm,
details, all the
I
pictures,
can't believe
all
they
the
allowed him
information.
to have that.
And he was doing the interview, and he would just automatically flip to whatever page it was he wanted to talk about. But that was giving him his trophy in his cell all day, all night. That was so wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It was
really.
so wrong. It was just re harming these people, the families, and everything else like that. But back then, he was allowed to keep it. He was allowed to make art and sell it, make money. He was allowed to do all that stuff.
So after you learned about this and before the trial, did you still keep going back to your grandmother's as often as you had for all the breaks and everything?
When this blew up the way that it did, my grandmother came and stayed with us for a while.
Oh, that
And
makes sense.
then when she went back, I went back. And I stayed there. I lived there for a year with her. I got a ride to school. My dad would come pick me up, take me back home for school, and bring me back every day, so that my grandmother wasn't alone. But we didn't leave her alone. And then when the trial started and everything, she would go. She didn't go every day, but she went very frequently with Marion, so that Marion had support, because the John's two sisters weren't going all the time. They were trying to, but they weren't. They were mad, they were hurt, they were embarrassed, they wanted to be there for Marion, but Karen was the supportive one, and Karen would go frequently. And when Karen didn't go, my grandmother went, and if I didn't have school, I went. So it was just that. So we
And
didn't.
so as a child, then you went to the trial.
Yeah, I went to a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it.
How, like, did you have any issues feeling safe, like when you went back to your grandmother's, or were you safe because you were with her and nothing had happened to you, or were you like kind of on edge being there?
I was not afraid of him, if that's what you're trying to get at.
Okay.
He did
Okay.
not
I mean,
scare
I don't know how I want
He did
to.
not. He did not scare me at
Okay.
all. And
So you
every
didn't have fear of monsters around the corner.
not then. I don't think, honestly, I heard all this stuff, but I don't think it sunk in.
Mm.
In all honesty, I don't think I grasped the totality of it all. And it wasn't till a little after the trial. There was, like I said, there's a couple of people that got away and had cooperated with the police, and that I had known. I got to know, and it was listening to them a little bit more explain things to me. The stuff that this guy did, it's that's what gives me the nightmares.
Yeah. I
That's
can.
because I
I
know
can.
the details of what he did. That's
Yeah.
the nightmare. I'm not afraid of him, but what he did to these boys is what gives me the nightmares.
Yeah. That's what, like, I have trouble understanding. I understand, like, people have an innate curiosity, and we're all here because of true crime in one form or fashion, but, like, I just don't think people grasp the horror of it all, of seeing it up close and personal. I think it's, I don't know, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I would love to see this and that," and,
No,
like,
you wouldn't.
actually, no, no, you wouldn't. Like, you might think you would, so that it would
Exactly.
satisfy your curiosity, but, no, you don't. You don't want to read the things I read, you don't wanna see the things I see, you don't want to have that coming into your atmosphere day after day after day after day, you just don't.
Exactly. And you can eliminate anything to do with this apartment building. Let's just say there's absolutely nothing there.
Nothing there.
There's
Yeah.
nothing there. Let's just say that for an example. What still bothers me is that I was at his house where there
The he
was. I was
So
in that house. I was above those people. I
yeah,
was
and
in
the
that
parties, like,
yard.
having
I was
parties
at the
there.
parties. I was in the car that he sold
Yeah.
to his friend. And then this is what he sends me after he gets arrested.
He sent you that.
He sent me that after he got arrested.
Oh, good God. Ugh. Oh, my goodness.
My
That's,
grandmother said she's lucky he was there. So yeah.
um,
And did you see the top of that? I don't know if it cut off or not.
he signed it.
He signed it, but on the very top of that picture it says clowns can get away with and the rest of the word.
Oh my God. Clowns can get away with the
M word, yep.
M word. Wow. Yeah, Squeegee, you should definitely go and check out Laura's channel, because, like I said, she's done a whole series on her experience and the investigation and all the things. Oh my gosh. Hi, Kristen Therapist. Thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yes, squeegee justice. I think that was the most sickening thing. that I had to deal with is him sending me that picture and then writing that on it. And he sent my grandmother a lot of the Disney art that he did because he knew I like Disney. But my grandmother was like, "The hell you're gonna get this? You're not getting this stuff." And I took it and I burned it. So I'm like, "You're right. I don't want it."
Wow.
But that's I still have his business cards too.
I saw those are in the videos. Yeah. I mean, what an absolute unusual and
sick,
extraordinary experience to have. Squeegee wants to know why he sent you the picture.
Because he was mad at my grandmother because my grandmother talked Marion into stop talking to him for a while.
It was almost like a threat.
Exactly.
Clowns can get away with. Oh my God.
My grandmother spent a lot of time trying to pull Marion away. In fact, we even got Marion to move out of the state to keep her away. She was getting threats. Marion was getting threats.
That's not fair for families of victims or families of perpetrators. I don't think that's fair. Unless you hand the weapon or train your child to do that. I don't know. There's a lot about that.
He knew doing that would hit my grandmother where it hurt the most. That's why he did that.
Wow. That's just sick.
Yep.
That's just sick.
And I'm going to answer one more question real quick. I saw it a while ago. A lot of people were asking did I ever see anything different in him that would alert me to what he was doing. I've gotten asked that so many times, and I think the only time that I really remember him being a little off, and I always just thought it was drugs or alcohol, was when he had a group of his workers around and he would just be lost in thought, like staring at them. That's the only thing I ever noticed. It wasn't like he would go out of his way to be flirtatious or be sick with these people or anything else like that. He would just be like in a daze fixating on one of them from the group. And that wasn't very often. Other than that, you never know nothing. He was just a happy-go-lucky jerk.
Who came around, fixed things, paved things in the middle of the night, threw a lot of parties. I mean,
Gacy never grew up. He never grew up. That was
and
he hung out with these teens. That he bought them beer. He bought them funky cigarettes and everything else like that. I'm trying to be very careful.
No, I appreciate it because I did that. I truly got shadow banned with my entire series on Ellen Greenberg, so I appreciate it.
They're really cracking down on.
They are so.
I'm.
I got shadow banned. It killed it. That was 7 weeks worth of content.
He had a bar in his home. He had a pool table.
All the things.
All the kids were always there. Boys were always there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody caught this before. He had been in prison elsewhere for SA before he came to Illinois. Did you say Iowa?
Yes.
So do you think had this happened in a day and age where there was a national registry or something like that, do you think he would have been able to go on to continue to do what he did?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When he came back here, nobody knew what he did. I don't know.
Right, exactly. I mean, nobody knew.
I don't know how he got a 10-year sentence and got out in 18 months, but he did. And he was able to transfer his parole to Cook County. And he left the next day and came out here. And that's when he moved in with his mom. And all these years, I think that was in like 72, maybe 71 or 72 that he moved back, somewhere around there. There were reports before he got caught from a couple of different young men that filed complaints against him. They didn't know anything. And then when the way the cops handle it was needling these young men. You're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to say that. Are you up for it? Can you do it? Can you handle it? Aren't you embarrassed? Things like that. Getting them to back off. They would run background. They wouldn't get anywhere. It
Right.
took the Splains and Rob Peace for them to finally get the information. He hadn't been reporting. He'd been arrested a couple of times and nobody caught that he had active parole going on while he was being accused of other things. So it just Iowa
Isn't
didn't
that
come out till way
interesting?
after he was arrested.
Squeegee is asking if you ever met Marlin.
Marilyn, the wife,
Marilyn?
the wife, yes.
Yes.
I used to play with their two little girls when they would come over and visit Marion. Because there's Marion, there's Marlin, and then there's the other wife and everything. The first wife I don't know anything about. I don't know her.
Oh, okay. 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 All right. Okay.
Because I was
So,
in Iowa and her dad owned KFC. So when they moved
oh,
out
that's
there,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
he took over the KFCs out there, and that's how he got into all this stuff. But
Got you.
that was way
Okay.
before me.
Well, I'm so grateful that you were willing to come on and share your experience with us. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask, or anything that you would like to say
I don't know if there's any
that we
more, but
didn't
we
talk
can
about?
also we can also plan on doing a follow up in a few
Sure,
weeks.
I'd be happy to do a follow up if you guys are interested. If you have more questions for Laura, I would definitely direct you to go over and check out her channel. Um, and I
Yes.
think
Sorry, go
definitely,
ahead.
no, I was just gonna say definitely. So I was going to Erin, I see your question. So Bob Mata, who is a YouTube creator,
I know who it
he
is.
yeah, his father was
I know.
Gacy's.
I
Do
know.
you have you ever had any interaction
Yep.
with him at all?
Yep.
Okay.
I love the dad. I can't stand Bob Mata.
All right. All right.
Sorry, I'm just being honest.
Fair enough. I don't know any of them.
I have dealt with him. I have talked to him numerous times. I do not like him, and I don't believe a lot of what he's putting out. There's a lot
Okay.
that's been edited, not everything, but there is a lot that's a lot of questions. And yeah, he did the defense diaries.
Yeah. Yeah. I only recently learned the connection. I thought that was
I mean,
just very interesting.
yeah,
So the attorney that was the father that represented Gacy, you did like him?
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I
He
was
was
I
very
was
nice.
wondering about asking you the question because I was thinking, well, I don't know how she would feel about the defense counsel for someone who had hurt, people that you knew.
Everybody's entitled to a defense. There was no defense, so there's no reason to hate them. They didn't take these families and put them up on trial. They didn't try these boys that were gone. They didn't do that. They what they were
Yeah,
trying to get was mental
got
issues.
you.
That's
Yeah,
what they were focused on and everything else. But
right,
you know,
right.
Bob Mata has got a lot of stuff, and I know that. But in my opinion, this is my opinion. I think he's doing it just for the money, not for any clarity, not for any explanation, any of that other stuff. I've turned down thousands of dollars for requests of interviews from years ago. I don't want the money. I don't believe in making money over somebody's crime or somebody's pain. But
Right.
I just there's been a couple of things Bob Mata has put up that's very accurate, very clear, and very true. There's been a couple of things that are not true, and I know for a fact, but I'm not going to battle with him.
Sure, sure. Well, again, so glad to have you on the channel. We've been planning this for a long time, and I appreciate you so much. And I am very appreciative of chat for everybody who's been so engaged. Thank you so much for your super chats and for your gifted memberships. I hope you guys will go and check out Laura's channel. And I will see you guys again, not next weekend, but the weekend after. and we are going to talk about a case. We're going to talk about case adjacent things. I've had to learn some things for a case for here, so I'm going to share with you what I've learned. So, you guys be safe out there. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you guys, and I appreciate all the support in the comments.
yes,
And
thank you.
let's do this again. Get some questions sent to her so we can do it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay.